So the topic today is feeling deserving. And for me, feeling deserving can bring a conversation in so many directions. And I'm curious to see how this conversation goes today. So the topic today is feeling deserving. And for me, feeling deserving can bring a conversation in so many directions. And I'm curious to see how this conversation goes today with two of my favorite people in this episode. So this topic came up in conversation recently for me, and I cannot remember the last time I actually thought or said the words "I don't deserve," although I know I've said it. Um, but when I started reflecting, see what I did there? Reflecting. I realized maybe we don't say those words. Maybe we live them, and it's hidden behind the way we live. Hidden behind the way we life. It's hidden behind the way we interact. So, with that in mind, I think I'd like to start by asking you to, when you hear the word deserve, what comes to mind for you? Do one of you in particular like to go first?
Go ahead, Sarah.
I knew you were going to do that. Put the spotlight on you last time.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, it's I. It's interesting that you say that maybe you don't say it, maybe it's more that you live it. Because for me, I do say it very often, and typically when I'm saying the words "I don't deserve this," it's in a negative context, right? It's like this
I,
thing is happening to me, and I don't deserve this, which is funny because then right off the bat, I immediately go into the thought, well, why do I think that I deserve better than this or different than this? And I guess I just find that very interesting because I think for me personally, I come from a place of, for a long time, feeling very unworthy, feeling that I don't deserve good things. So for me, just instinctively to get in a moment and say, I don't deserve this in this present kind of surprises me. Because if I look at the bigger picture of it, like that's exactly what I deserve. Especially when I so fully believe that we create our own realities. So whatever consequence I'm experiencing in this moment is the result of an action that I've taken, which means it's exactly what I deserve under that negative context. Now, that being said, when we talked about this topic, um, there's two things that keep coming up for me, and they're both from my religious upbringing, um, because it's something I've always fought with. The guilt that you feel when you grow up in a religious household, in a church, and I don't know if it's for every religion, but I know specifically for mine, and I think Beth Ann, you can relate to that as well. There's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of shame, and there's very much a feeling of you don't deserve any of this. You don't deserve anything. You are not good enough. And in my upbringing, you had to be redeemed by salvation through Jesus in order to be deserving. So he is the reason that you deserve anything. Because he died for your sins, now you are pure enough to deserve good things in life. And I always struggled with that idea. And I have a very distinct memory of a man talking to us when we were teenagers at this youth um, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a youth group meeting or something like that. He was a special speaker and he was talking about mercy and grace. And those are just two words that were just like constantly thrown around. Like you just knew what those words were in my upbringing. Yet I had never really thought about what they actually meant. And he talked about God's mercy and grace and how much of it do we deserve. And he explained it in a way saying that there is no, it's an infinite amount. There is so much that you can't say that you deserve this much or that much. There's more than enough for you. That you deserve all of it. And he described it because, we're teenagers and we're not dumb, but it's hard for us to stay focused on these topics. He described it like an ice cream sundae, and he said, how much of the Hershey syrup do you want on your ice cream sundae? He said, because there's just so much of it that you're not even going to be able to see the sundae anymore because it's just going to be poured out all over the sundae, unlimited, never-ending Hershey syrup. So it's stuck in my brain. Like, okay, I deserve the Hershey syrup amount of mercy and grace. I deserve that. And appreciate that stuck with me. Even though I've kind of let go of a lot of the other things, I've let go of the shame and the guilt and all of that from that upbringing. I appreciate that I feel that as me in this human experience, I do deserve an infinite amount of specifically mercy and grace and anything else that I desire. I do deserve that. We all deserve that.
So, Beth Ann, I want to ask you the same question, but I do want to touch base on that real quickly in regard to deserving. What if the question isn't, what do I deserve? What if we reframed it as, can I receive this? Because somebody can pour all the chocolate syrup on your sundae that they want to, and you can still deny it. You can still say, no, thank you. Whether it's conscious or subconscious, that's a different story. And I think that's kind of where this goes is reflecting how we're receiving the things that are presented to us, whether it be patience, abundance, relationships, all of those things. When you start to feel worthy of receiving, to me, that's like equal to, that's more important to me than feeling deserving. Right? Because I said initially that I don't really say it in those words, but I think I gaslight myself because I say it in other ways and forms, right? Because I know that that's not the right thing to say. So I'm not going to say that out loud. But the words that I say and the way I feel are two different, they're not matching, right? Because I'm showing up in different ways. But yeah, I like that description of receiving all the chocolate syrup. You're deserving of all.
So it's not just for teenagers, it works for us as adults.
Yes, absolutely. I want nuts too. Can I have nuts too?
As many as you want. It's unlimited.
I just need to receive it. I need to receive it without feeling without feeling guilty.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So that to me is the other key, right? Is receiving without feeling guilty or without feeling shame or without feeling all the things. Just gratefulness and appreciation and receiving the love. So, Beth Ann, what you got?
I don't, it's so funny because I kept on thinking to myself, like, what do I deserve? What do I deserve? And then, what kept coming to mind is everything and nothing. That's just, it was so, it was so hard for me to like put it all into words. And then I was thinking again, like deserving, again, just like saying, saying it and receiving it, very different things. It's hard to, and then you have the negative part of it too. Like if something negative happens, did I deserve for that to happen? It's
Like, what did I do to deserve this, right?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's another part of it. Um, but then I was thinking, deserve, and if I deserve everything but expect nothing, I think that's a little bit of where my head was going. Which leads to entitlement, which is a whole different it's kind of a whole different ballgame. But I'd like receive, but saying I deserve it all, there's a whole bunch of there's like a whole bunch of little subcategories of that, like there's things that should be earned too, right? Somebody's trust, somebody's love, those things.
That's a good,
There's a bunch of things.
I like that. Like, how do you deserve someone's trust?
Mm-hmm.
I don't until I've proven myself to somebody, right? Like until I've gained or shown somebody that um, I'm the person they think that I am, then that's when you deserve their trust.
Is that true though, or are we conditioned to feel that way?
Right.
I don't know. Is that true?
Well, I like to always go back to infancy. A newborn baby doesn't have a choice of whether or not they trust. They are just born into it, right? So there's no earning of trust at that moment, right? They're just trust is
I
more
don't
something.
think they have a choice. If they didn't trust, they wouldn't eat, they wouldn't live, basically.
But that becomes conditioning to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Yeah.
exactly where I was going next. I love that. Yeah. Is when does it start? When do we start incorporating those feelings of like, I do or don't deserve XYZ? And to me, it becomes, our conditioning, our environment, our the stories and the beliefs that we're surrounded by. And Sarah, you walked right into this with talking about how you were raised under religion, and that caused you to have that perspective, right? So we all have different upbringings, and it instills in us and directs us in ways. Well, it directs us in ways that we're supposed to be in, but we can reflect back, and when we start to question, do I deserve that? Maybe we can start to become more curious and say, where's that coming from? Like, what age? Where did this belief come from? And we can start getting curious with that belief a little bit.
And I think that's why I like to go back to, the younger the child, because if you think about deserve, like if I think about a newborn baby, that baby deserves everything. That
Right.
child
Mhm.
has nothing to not
Yeah.
deserve the best life that they can possibly have.
Correct.
So
I totally agree with you. Mhm.
at what age does a child then start to do things that make it so that it doesn't necessarily deserve the good things and then turn into an adult who doesn't deserve? Like, why do we put those conditions? Why do we set these standards of you deserve this because of this? You don't deserve this because of this. There's always a stipulation.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, as a child, as you're growing, it's not about you don't deserve it. It's about doing for yourself at some point, right? Like, so I think as you're it's not that the child always deserves it, but if you continuously give, they're not going to learn to do on their own, right? So does that make sense? So if you're like I don't know, just say a kid who's 13, 14, going, so you keep on giving and giving because they do deserve it. It's not that they don't. But then if you keep on giving, they don't learn that independence to do for themselves. So it's just, I think that it becomes it becomes something different, right?
No, I totally agree with you. I think that, so let's get deeper into it and speak about exactly what we're talking about in deserving. So if we talk about love,
Yeah.
That's
deserve
what,
Yeah.
love, at
yeah.
what point do you stop deserving love?
So
And
so
what
can I
is
just
that?
Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
I was just gonna interject in regard to, do we deserve love? And to your point, Beth Ann, in regard to like letting that infant child grow up to figuring things out on their own. At that point, at some point there is also that element of like that fine line between that, when they start reaching outward to look for the love instead of being within themselves.
Oh.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Right. So that's where my mind went when Beth Ann was talking that, because there's that entitlement thing that you were touching on. And I get
Yeah.
that, but to me, that's more like materialistic stuff, right? But when it comes to like love and feeling valued, what are we looking at outside to get that when it's all within us? right? I mean, it's always nice, don't get me wrong. It's nice to receive love. It's nice to receive validation and and know that you're of value, but you shouldn't have to be productive to feel valued. You shouldn't have to, have X, Y, and Z accomplished under your name to feel of value. You're a human on this. You are unique, perfectly perfect, unperfectly perfect, however that saying goes, human here on this planet, that you, just for being, you don't earn love. You don't earn, it's all within you. And once it's within you, then you will start, I don't want to say attracting, but it is attracting, but it's that ripple effect, right? It's that ripple effect. Once it's within you, what's in you goes out. What's in you is what comes out, right? If you're angry, that's what's going to come out. Or unless you're emotionally intelligent, right? If you are upset, that's what's going to come out. If you're frustrated, that's going to come out. All those things come, whatever's in you is going to come out. And then I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of like where I am pretty passionate about these last six-ish months-ish is it all starts within.
It does. I agree with that. But how then do we interact with people who we feel don't deserve our trust or our love, our acceptance?
I mean, the answer seems easy to me, but the action is not always easy, right?
Well, what's the answer?
You distance yourself. They're not meant for you.
Okay. But they're just as deserving.
Sure. Doesn't make them bad people. It's just you're not on the same vibrational, what do we want to
Level.
call it? Level. Yes, thank you. See? It's the word level.
Level.
I was trying to steer away from that. I couldn't think of another word though. That was all it was there.
I struggle with that a little bit because I mean I just feel like I mean I understand why you're saying it, but because it's a little bit like just because somebody is a certain way or whatever, just because somebody isn't on your, and I know that the level part of it is not really, that's not really the correct terminology.
No.
It's more
Yeah.
that, if they're your people, if they're meant for you, if they're somebody who wants to kind of be in your plane of thinking,
Yeah.
that whole line. Um,
If they speak your love language, right? If they speak your love language and things work between you two, then yes, I'm going to build a relationship with you. And yes, I'm going to seek more and I'm going to want to grow more and I'm going to want to be more with you. But
Are we just talking specifically about relationships like an intimate relationship, or are we talking about like any like friendship,
yeah,
parent, child, every
I think so. I think even jobs, right? Like if
right,
it doesn't make you,
boss, coworkers?
yeah, but even your specific job, like where you
mm,
live, like, if you're not feeling fulfillment in all aspects of your life, it's a chance to reflect. And instead of saying, what do I'm just not deserving here.
Oh, I
Why
see what okay.
why not say, why not look at yourself and reflect on yourself and say, where is this belief coming from that I think that I don't deserve fulfillment or I don't deserve the XYZ whatever job. I can't something without feeling I can't be productive without feeling valued. I can't accept compliments without feeling guilty, without,
that was
there's
always
so
difficult.
yeah, there's so many, but there's so many different ways that this I don't deserve or I can't receive hides, I feel. Right. And I think
Hmm.
those are all ways. It's not just you know, we can go all in about relationships and all that kind of good stuff, but I'm thinking it's receiving love, help, rest, money, compliments we talked about, healthy relationships, any of it.
Compliments have always been a really tough thing for me. So, and that's one of those things, that's where that deserving, yeah, sure, I can say I deserve it all. But then as soon as somebody says, your hair looks
Oh,
nice, whatever, it's like, it's that it almost hurts. It's almost like, don't, I don't believe you. I don't, I don't accept it, whatever. So, it actually has been probably a good couple years where I've just said thank you, to try. I mean, regardless of whether I'm trying to allow it in, I'm trying to accept it. I think that's at least, I'm not fighting it anymore. Um,
that's a
and
huge step, that completely.
what's that?
That's a really big step to take, and I completely relate with that because I've found myself on that same journey
Yeah,
of
it's
not
tough.
wanting to deflect immediately, which was what I always did. I always would say, "Well, no, that's not true," and try
Yeah.
to explain it away. And what I find really interesting is when someone would compliment you, it almost would make you trust them less. It distances them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
For
for
me,
sure.
that's how I felt. They would say
No, I
something
agree.
that I could not receive. And
Hmm.
not only could I not receive the compliment for myself, it also separated me from them even more. Like, I don't trust you anymore because you're saying a
Hmm.
lie to me because it's not what I believe.
Yep. Yep. It's a
Yeah.
lie.
To me,
But
I
I've
feel
done the
it's a
same
little,
thing to
Hmm.
turn it around. Well, not to turn it around, but just to start to kind of repair that instead of deflecting and saying, no, you're wrong.
Hmm.
Allowing them the freedom of, okay, you want to say something nice to me, and I'm going to let you have that gift. I'm going to allow you to receive the gift of complimenting me, and I'm just going to say thank you, or I'm
Yeah.
going to say thank you and respond with a compliment of something. Because I feel wholeheartedly that the things that I say to other people are
Hmm.
true. So if I'm saying to somebody, "Hey, I like your hair," Bethany, and you don't
Thank
believe
you.
me, like that's insulting because I'm not just
Yeah.
saying it, just be
No, I
nice.
know.
Yeah. So it's
I
interesting.
It's hard though. I mean, I think, when you have that really awful self-esteem growing up, and you've had people say horrible things to you, it's hard to turn it around, to believe somebody when they are, you know, is it is it that is somebody being honest with you and not trying to hurt you, it's just so it's hard to relearn all of that when you've had a different perspective your whole life.
Right.
so,
Are they
so,
being honest or are they just trying to use you in some way? What do they want from
Yeah,
you? Why are they saying this to you?
exactly. Yeah. Hmm.
so two things come to mind, just listening to you guys chat. The first thing is we've talked about loving all pieces of ourselves, right? And so what I've learned is that, you can get yourself to that place that you remember receiving those compliments and actually literally like have that conversation with yourself and see what yourself needs, bring yourself to that place so that little you can get up to speed with big you and how you want to be. But that also requires an identity shift and receiving that you're willing to make that identity shift. You're willing to let go of that old version of you that was clinging to that because that's what you've known, because that's familiarity to you. Does that make sense? So like it's a familiar place. It's not, it doesn't, what's difficult is it's not necessarily something that you're like, yeah, I like feeling that way. But it's literally your nervous system and your body in familiarity going, this is this is just familiar space. So you're there. It's that, you
Hmm.
know,
That's
familiar
very
thing.
comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable. Because that's true. So it becomes uncomfortable when you're trying to step into the receiving of whether it's a compliment, whether somebody wants to hand you or buy you a blender, a shaker blender, and surprise you because somebody threw mine away or lost mine. And
We
it's one
didn't
of
throw it away, just so everybody's clear.
It wasn't us. We didn't throw it away.
yeah.
You did make that sound like somebody bought me one because somebody threw it away.
No. Anyway, long story short, I either lost or someone took my shaker, blender shaker, and I was telling Sarah, and next thing I knew, one showed up at my door, and that's
And you
also
received it.
You
yes,
received it.
that's
But what's funny is
I
had
even
to
said that to you.
we had the conversation about, like, we were talking about not specifically your cup, but about how it was difficult and how you wanted to start receiving things. And so I had to contemplate in my mind, like, if I send her this out of love, is she going to stop sharing her stories with me? Yes,
You
right?
know me.
Yes. But because we had the conversation that you had said, I need to start opening myself up to be able to receive more. I knew that that was, like, the timing was perfect. Like, I could send this and you would receive it because you would choose to receive it, and that you wouldn't shut down and shut me out. And that's exactly, I knew that if I had just sent that any other time, if you had shared that story with me and then I gift you something to replace it, that it was going to cause you to kind of shift back and pull away from me instead of being able to receive the love. And we do that. We do that with compliments. We do that with gifts. We do that with so many things in life where we feel like, oh, I shared too much and now I'm undeserving of what I received because I
Yes.
shared.
Yes. Agreed. And it still went through my head. It absolutely still went through my head. And I had to, the awareness within me, thank God that I'm at that place now, right? Like, I'm grateful for being at that place. I wasn't at that place, but I'm at the place now where I could be aware of it, how uncomfortable it was that I received this. And I shifted from, I don't deserve this. I can't believe that she sent this to me. I'm never going to share my story again, like my stories again, or, that type of thing. Like exactly what you said. And instead, I said, no, I'm going to receive this because I knew she sent it with love. And I reframed it. I reframed it in my brain from, I don't deserve this. Just like I said, I'm hiding behind those different versions of how I say it and how I bring it up. And I reframed it and said, I'm going to receive this from my friend with love. And that's exactly how I sent the message to her, as I received this with love. Thank you so much. You're sweet. Yes. So I'm with you.
But isn't
So
it funny? That's like such an effort, like that took a lot of energy for both of us, right? Like that understanding of, why do I deserve this? What did I do to deserve this? Do I deserve this? All of those questions just seem to like fight in our minds without us even realizing it. And
yes.
just simple little things.
Yes. So I do want
I
to
didn't
shout out.
realize, honestly, how much I didn't feel I deserved until this conversation, to be quite honest.
I do want to shout out to our viewers, and we would love to read your comments and share in the space, because it helps create connections, and someone else may read the words that you're writing, just like we're speaking the words that we're saying, and hoping that we're making those connections and they resonate with you. And then you can realize that you're not alone, right? Like, I feel like this was helpful. Like you just said, Beth Ann, you're starting to have, things are being brought to your attention and your awareness of different ways that you can reframe, or different ways that you're hiding behind the do I deserve, instead of blatantly saying it outright, or maybe you are saying it outright. But it's a chance to reflect and question and get curious and wonder about yourself, where this is coming from, and have that conversation with yourself. And yeah, it does.
You're on point with the making the connection with others, because having the conversation with yourself, yes, it's self-work. It does need to happen within us, and we have the ability, we have the tools within us. There's something different about making the connection with others and being able to share in that and discuss it and understand that we're not alone.
Yeah,
whether
I
it's
think,
in those feelings or even just in the
yeah,
need ending.
yeah. I mean, I talked about, before we've talked about, how I literally thought I was crazy, right? Like I used that word often, growing up. I felt like I was crazy. And I don't mean crazy in like, the common way that people think of whatever, however people think of it. I think of it as like I was having all these bizarre feelings to me, like, because everybody else seemed normal and what's normal, right? But
Mhm.
I thought I was the only one who was questioning so many things, and meaning, worth, am I deserving? And receiving wasn't even a thing, right? It's only receiving negative things, and why is this happening to me, type of thing. But until I started making those connections, and then I started realizing the feeling of, oh, I'm not really so alone. I'm not the only one, right? And I think that's kind of what I'm asking of the viewers, is to share and be willing to share and be a little vulnerable so that they can give someone else the opportunity to not feel so alone. So I think this conversation can go a couple different directions. Maybe it's a good time to say that we can bring a part 2 on.
Mhm. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah,
To be continued.
agreed. So yeah,
So then what is the question then? Ask that question again that you just said, that that will be our starting point. What can we be open
um,
to receive if we come from that place of no longer feeling that our worth is an
it's not
issue?
the question. Yeah, it's not the question. The question isn't, are you worthy? Are you deserving? Um, you're here. You're worthy. Um, so what would that allow you to finally receive? Like, what's the vision? What could you receive if you eliminated that limiting belief? Because it really is a limiting belief, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So we would love to see from you guys in the comments for a couple of those things that we've talked about tonight. And we will message you. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Anything else you guys want to add?
I'm good.
All right. Thank
Thank you,
you.
ladies.